I'm so glad to have you here today. My name is Angela Isa. Thank you for checking out my channel, Crochet and Beyond. I am going to be teaching you today how to crochet with cotton thread size 10. So cotton thread looks like this. Big roll, smaller roll. They usually come wrapped up in a paper cardboard roll inside. So you can buy a big roll, a small roll, doesn't really matter. For a initial project, small rolls would be fine. And the size of hook that we use is really tiny. It is a 1.5 millimeter hook. It's a steel hook, so the tip is really thin. So you might be thinking, are you kidding me? I'm like, no, you really can crochet with that. It actually can go even smaller, but you would have to use something even thinner than that. So that's probably an idea for a future project. And definitely this is the type of projects where I put my reading glasses on because it makes everything really small. Now, I recommend that you try my project first. And I have for you here a bookmark. Super simple, small little thing for you to do. Okay? The stitches in crochet are all the same. They don't change. Now, what you have to get used to is the feel in your hand, because crochet thread is very thin, super thin, as you can see. All right? So you might kind of like really struggle with it a little bit in the beginning, and the stitches might look a little messy. So you might have to maybe try to get your first rows right first, and if they don't look good, open up and then do it again. All right, so the tutorial is very straightforward and nothing really new other than what I already been teaching in my 5 lessons on learning how to crochet. The stitches are the same. How you hold your thread around the fingers, how you hold your hook is all the same. It's just a matter of feeling the feel and getting used to it. And yeah, if you need reading glasses, put them on, because I do, definitely. And it makes very beautiful things. So right now I have this project for you. In the future, hopefully I will do other things. I do have a video already on flowers that you can do with crochet thread, and they can be used in a variety of projects like crafts. You can glue them on things, you can use them on flip-flop decorating, you can use them on as appliques to other projects that you might be working. So there is like an infinity of ideas on how to use things that you make with crochet thread. So I hope this is helpful. So please like my video, tell me how is it going, and if you're having any difficulty, I would like to hear from you as well. With a 1.5 millimeter crochet hook and cotton thread of size 10, go ahead and chain 15. Now, the whole idea on this video here is that you will get used to crochet with thread. And as we already mentioned this before, crocheting with thread is small, tiny moves. It is small around your hands. So if you need reading glasses, this is the time to get them, because I do. What you want to make sure here is that your chains are not too loose or not too tight. They need to be nice and just enough that your hook travels easily. Okay, so we don't want them too big, we don't want them too tight. Okay, now this takes a little bit of practice, so if your first try does not come out successful, don't give up. It's really not that hard. You just have to kind of like understand that it does feel different, and that your move of your hand needs to be, I should say, a little bit more delicate. So I had 5 chains here. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So there is that foundation chain. So if your first attempt does not look like this, if the chains are too big, too loopy, or too tight, undo this and keep trying it several times until you find yourself with an even, consistent, nice and pretty, braid looking like foundation chain. Okay, so don't give up, just hang in there and keep trying, okay? All right, for this particular bookmark here, we're gonna keep it super simple. We're going to simply do 2 rows of single crochet and then 2 rows of double crochet, alternating it until we are done. To move on here, we are working into our first single crochet row. For that, you need to look into second chain of the hook. This is the first one, this is the second chain of the hook, and that's where you will insert, grab your yarn, and then do it again and that's your first single crochet. Now you will notice that as you single crochet into the foundation chain, that foundation chain becomes a little big. That's normal. Don't worry about that. It's just how it is. If it becomes much bigger than this, then I think your foundation chain is probably too loose. You might want to just open it up and just make them slightly tighter. All right, so just kind of practice that for a little bit more maybe. So as we move on here into this row, just simply find one chain after the other and do your single crochet right onto it. At the end of the row, you are going to have 14 single crochets, and throughout your bookmark, your row always needs to have 14 stitches, no matter if you're doing single crochet or double crochet. And I have to say also that the first row is the hardest because you have so little to hold on to right here. So yeah, just give yourself, 3 more rows here, and boy, you will see like, hey, this is actually starting to look nice. Yeah. So the minefield is right here. Get this first row completed, and here we go. Done. All right, so that is 14 single crochets. Okay, and as any other work, you will see that it leaves kind of like a foundation chain looking braid here at the top, and as you turn, that's where you will be working your second row. Before we turn, chain 1. That's it, and then go ahead and turn. All right. The next stitch that you have to insert is the one right here, nice and close to that chain that you just did. It's right there, see? Okay, so here we go. 1, 2, 3. So since you are now building your second row upon the previous row, it starts getting a little easier to identify where your stitch is. And I am using the front loop and the back loop, okay, of the previous row. And this is pretty much it. So I'm going to finish up this row here with you, and then we're going to work into the double crochet rows. So this way, in one bookmark, you learn how to do single crochet and double crochet. Not that you learn how to do the stitch, you know how to do this stitch, but you understand how it feels like to do something with crochet thread. All right. And then right there was one more. That last one can be a little funny looking. Yeah, so, but yes, that's the one right there. All right. So 2 rows of single crochet are done. Now we're going to be doing 2 rows of double crochet. Now, the difference here is when we turn, instead of chaining just 1, you need to chain 3. So every time when you're going into a double crochet row, you need to chain 3 before you start. And every time you're going into a single crochet row, you just chain 1. So keep that in mind. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, turn. All right. And in this case here, this chain 3 here will be considered as your first double crochet. So therefore, when we insert for the hook into the next chain, we are going to ignore this space right here. That is the one that's literally attached, to the foundation chain. Not the foundation chain, to the chain 3 that you did. So ignore that one and go to the next one. So this is double crochet 2. So this is the second double crochet. Okay, the first one, the first chain 3 is considered as a double crochet. So here is 1, 2, 3. 4, 5, and you might be thinking like, oh no, doing a double crochet and thread is even harder because there is more, you know, yarn overs and more going through the loops for you to control your tension. Yeah, that's true. It is a little bit more tricky. So I don't know. All I can say is hang in there, you know, just keep practicing. If it's looking, you know, if it looks really terrible, just undo it and try it again. Just don't give up. That's all I'm asking. Don't give up. It's gonna get better. And at the end, please show your bookmark on our Facebook group. Go ahead and post a picture. I would love to see what you did, and or whom you gave it to, or whatever. You know, just show it to us. Show how you're doing. There we go. Good. So that was my first double crochet row. So let's just double check if we have 14, right? So remember that the first one here is a double crochet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, right on. So one more double crochet row. Remember, we're doing 2 single crochet rows, 2 double crochet rows. So since we're going into another double crochet row, remember 1, 2, 3 chain is what you do before you turn. All right, we skip this. It's not here, but we go here. All right, and there we go. Same thing as the row before. I'm going to speed up a little bit and meet you at the end of this row. All right, so here at the end, you might be like, okay, this is it, right? So be careful that you don't ignore your chain 3. Okay, so right now I am doing my 12th double crochet, but there still is this guy here. So you have to do a double crochet right on top of that chain 3. Okay, don't forget that the first chain 3 was considered like a double crochet. And if you're not sure, did I really do 14? Count again. That's the chain 3, that's the first one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. There we go, you did it right. 2 rows of single crochet, 2 rows of double crochet. Keep doing this now until you have 20 rows. One more thing here, we are going into a single crochet row. So you simply chain 1, turn, and here, yes, you please go ahead and insert as close as to that chain as possible. So that was your first one. So that chain 1 does not count as a single crochet, okay? So this was your first single crochet, and move on from here. All right, so I hope this is helpful. I meet you at the end here. All right, so at the end of the work here, we are going to be doing some decreases on the side so that your bookmark will form a tip. Then we will be doing an edging around this bookmark, a very simple edging. And finally, we will be doing a tassel at the tip, and you will be all done with your very first project in thread. All right, so there we go. I finished my first, my single crochet row. So remember, 20 rows of this and you will be ready to go and finish it up. Meet you there. So here it is. Here your bookmark is almost done. You finished 30 rows and they came in 2s, right? 2 rows of single crochets, 2 rows of double crochets, and so on and so forth, until at the very end I finished here with 2 rows of single crochet, making 30 rows all together. Okay, now we're going to finish up this bookmark by making it tip here at the end, kind of like building a triangle at the top. For you to do that, you have to decrease some stitches at the edges here. Right now I have 14 stitches in each row. So with a decrease, I will go 12 stitches, and then with another decrease, I will go 10, and then 8, 6, 4, and 2. And that will then finish up the triangle that I have in mind here at the top. Okay, so for that, I'm going to do the decreases, so pay attention carefully what to do. and it's very straightforward. You will be using only double crochets and chains and slip stitch as well. So listen up. I'm sure you will be able to get through this with no problem. All right. So here we go. We are going to turn this around, and this time we don't need to chain. Simply turn. All right. And you're going to do a slip stitch in the next stitch. This is not the one I'm looking for, that one. So do a slip stitch right there. Just like that. Chain 3. 1, 2, 3. These chain 3s are considered as a double crochet. All right, so this is your first double crochet. It's disguised. I always like it like that, okay? Now you're going to do double crochets until you have a total of 12. So this was 1, 2, 3 until you have 12, okay? So I'm going to speed up and meet you at the end of the row. And now this is 12 right there, see? So you got, considering the first 3 chains, 12 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So what's happening here is that last stitch here, the one at the very end, is not going to be filled in, all right? Okay, so moving to the next row. It's pretty much the same idea as I just did in the previous row. You slip stitch, so as you noticed, I turned without doing a chain. You slip stitch in the next stitch, so careful. It's not that one, it's that one. It can be sneaky. I always repeat this because that's where little errors can occur. And then later you're like, wait a minute, this is not turning out the way it's supposed to. And then it's, you know, little distractions like these that can totally throw your work off. So it's worth always repeating that, okay? So here's that slip stitch I said, and again, I'm gonna do 3 chains. One more time, I have a disguised double crochet here. So we had 14, now we had 12, and now we're gonna go up until 10. So this was 1, and we are gonna double crochet until I have 10 stitches. 2, 3, and I will meet you at the end of the row. And this is 10. All right, there we go. That was a total of 10 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So keep doing this until you have 2 stitches at the end. The idea is the same. It's every row you will have 2 less. All right, so I turned one more time. I slip stitched. I chain 3. And I double crochet until I have a total of 8. And 8. There we go. Turn. Slip stitch. And chain 3. Now we find a total of 6 double crochets. This was 1, 2, and this is 6. Turn around, slip stitch once, chain 3, and now we do up until 4. 1 is already done, 2, 3, 4. There we go. Now earlier I mentioned when we started to decrease here that I was gonna go way until there were only 2 stitches left, but I did that and it didn't look too nice. I changed my mind. I'm gonna stop at 4. I think that will look just great. Just didn't look right. So there we go. See? Doing crochet sometimes you can change things and improvise a bit. No problem with that. So I'm going to cut this string here, pull through, and you are nearly done. All right, so I'm going to start the edging on this end here where I initially did my first knot. All right, so and as I look around the bookmark, I see a lot of, you know, different things at the end of each row, right? Sometimes there is no hole at all. Sometimes there's a big one. So what I'm going to do is pretty much whenever I see something like a bigger space, I'm going to do 2 single crochets there for sure. 1 right there, 2 here. And then here I have 2 rows of single crochet. So pretty much I'm going to do 1 here, 1 here, and 1 here. Like 1, 2, 3 to cover. And then here comes 2. Here I'll do 1 and here I'll do another 2. So then 1, 2, 3. 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. I think that pretty much follows itself into a pattern. I will start it, okay, and show you what I'm doing, and then I'm gonna stop and you do your work, all right? And then when we are here, we can meet again. I don't think there is a big deal about this part here. We might maybe have to add a little more stitches just to make this here a little round. How are we gonna get this started is get your new color. And there isn't really a magic place. I would say more or less right there. Insert your hook, put your thread in the back. Hold it with the middle finger. Pull through and there we go. Chain 1 and that should hold it until later when we're done, you weave in the ends. I think I can have 1 more here for single crochet and then it's time to do 2 in the big spot right there. Then I will do 1 here, 2 next. And then here we have the end of the single crochet rows. So pretty much, let's see, 1, 2, and 3. Isn't really like the right perfect spot to do so. Just find whatever looks nice and even and go for it. Then here again, there is 2 on the big hole, 1 in the middle, 2, it's not necessarily a big hole, but it is, you know, right there between two double crochets, and do 2. All right, so here we go. I'm gonna go do 1, 2, 3, 2, just as I explained to you earlier. So I will meet you again when we are here, okay? There it is, looking even, right? I think it's perfect, because if you do 2 little stitches, it shrivels up. If you do too many, it bubbles. So you're gonna really find the right amount. I think this looks perfect. Now here we are at the tip. All right, so I think I'm just gonna follow the same idea here. I'm gonna do 3, 1, 2, 3 single crochets, one after the other here, and then 2 in a big hole. That one looks like deserves 1, and then 2. So here, yeah. And there should be 1, because I was doing only double crochets here, so it looks a little different, right? 2 in the big one, 1 here. Good. 2 in the big one, 1 here. Now this is the tip, so I think for this one here, what I'm gonna do, I will go ahead and do 1. I will do 3 here. 2, 3, and then we will do 1 there, there. That makes 2, and then I'm gonna do 3 right here into the big hole right there. 1, 2, 3. I think that made it nice and round. All right, and then 1 here, and from now on again I'm going to be doing 2 in the big one, and then 1. 2 here, and 1. All right, that worked. Okay, So there we go, back to the straight line. All right, there we go. And I think I'm gonna do one more there. So this brings us back now to work on the other side. And I think the same idea will apply. 2 single crochets, 1 single crochet, 2, and then 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, and so on and so forth. There we go. Look at that. Oh my, I think it looks really cute. This variegated color is so sweet, isn't it? All right, so here we go. We're gonna finish up the last little stretch. So let's just make a nice rounded corner here. So with that, I just have to add more single crochets in one spot. So there was one more, and I think right here I'm gonna do 1, 2. I think that's all it needs, and then pretty much I will go on a straight line again. And it's very clear here where the stitches are, so pretty much 1 single crochet for each stitch. And then right here I'm gonna do 2, 1, 2. Yeah, keep that string out of the way. And then one more where I started. Good. And with that, I should say do a slip stitch on that top one right there, and you are done. There we go. Snip it off and pull through, and now let's just weave in the ends. Make a tassel. Yeah, making a little tassel is really not hard at all. I think that by now you probably know how to weave in, so I'm gonna show you one. How to do it. And then you do the others, okay? There we go. So simply tuck them in. Yeah. I try to find usually around the edge. Tuck in a couple. Don't pull it too hard, otherwise it shrivels up. And then do the same thing in all the others. To do the tassel, you will need a bigger hook, you will need scissors, and an object that is about the size of this iPhone 5. It could be cardboard, so I'm going to use my phone because it just works. So the key here is to make strings that are about the same size. Instead of measuring each one individually, I just wrap them around a piece of cardboard and go from there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, and then I'm gonna grab it right here, more or less where I started, snip it off, and there we go. Find all the others right there and even it out a little bit. See, there we go. I got a bunch of tassels, a bunch of strings that are the same length. All right, so with that in mind, I'm now gonna bring them together like this so that I have a loop at the top. Now with that, I will now bring my hook right here in between those two, right there, right in the middle. Grab the strings through, all right, let go of the hook, and then grab the other side and pull. There we go, tassel made. And if you think it's too long, you of course can cut it short. There we go, done. Now you can use this in your favorite book. And there we go. I have a neat bookmark that you can give away, that you can keep for yourself. There we go, see? Let me put that a little wider. Oh, I love it. There we go. And this kind of hopefully helped you out learning how to crochet with thread. Hope you enjoyed this project. Send me a comment, tell me how it worked, and I'm sure after you finish something simple like this, you will be able to get going on other things a little bit more complicated. thread, with cotton thread, especially like the 6-petal flowers that I have on my channel that you might want to try that out. Okay, so here we go. Enjoy. Thank you so much for watching, and please don't forget to subscribe. Take care. See you soon.